Fascinating.
Because it would destroy the whole vision that they have. It would say there are enormous numbers of reasons why people acquire the ability to create wealth, and they vary all over the world. And so if you find, for example, that in centuries past, Germans living in Eastern Europe had much higher standards of living than the indigenous peoples of Eastern Europe. Intellectuals will say, well, the Germans have somehow oppressed the people of Eastern Europe.
Right.
Or the ones who are into genetic determinism will say the Germans were born biologically superior to the people of Eastern Europe. But anyone with a knowledge of history would know that there are all kinds of reasons why Western Europe as a whole has far greater wealth producing capacity than Eastern Europe. But of course, that would then cut out the role of intellectuals.
You're right that although intellectuals pay a lot of attention to inequalities among racial and ethnic groups, quote, seldom has this attention been directed toward how the less economically successful might improve themselves by availing themselves of the culture of others around them, close quote. What do you mean by that?
I mean, that the same things which allow some other people to prosper can allow them to prosper if they take advantage of those same things. The Scots were a classic example. They were one of the poorest and most ignorant people on the fringes of European civilization in centuries past. But once they, for whatever reasons, began to educate themselves and especially to learn the English language, which became a passion. People all over Scotland, including Hume himself, were taking lessons in the English language. And from about the middle of the 18th century to the middle of the 19th century, the leading intellectuals in Britain were Scots.
Right.
I mean, you had Adam Smith in economics, Hume's in human philosophy, Black in chemistry. You go through the whole list. And so they could do that. But that was an extremely rare thing for an intellectual to say. Most intellectuals in most countries around the world see the issue as how those who are more prosperous should be brought down, rather than how, and moreover, that people who are lagging should cling to their culture. I don't know how you're going to keep on doing what you've always done and get results that are different from what you've always gotten.
Asheville, North Carolina became the very first city in the South and only the second in the nation to formally approve financial restitution for Black residents.
This week, California made history. On Wednesday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a first-of-its-kind law forming a task force to study the state's role in slavery and make recommendations for reparations.
The sad fact is that slavery...
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com.
Anyone? Everyone?
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Wait, so am I running it too?
So
yeah,
I mean, slavery is so long ago. I mean, it goes back to the words of Kanye. You know, stop worrying about slavery. You know, I mean, people be so quick to talk about racism and all this stuff. I mean, I know it's like it's hard not to talk about, but don't make it like the centerpiece of life. Like, we're not here because of slavery. We're here because when we was younger, we didn't take advantage of certain things. I mean, maybe we wasn't praised, or maybe we wasn't praised to do certain things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, when, like, my brother personally, when he was in Orlando, like, he got absolutely no looks, like, when it came to sports. And I'm not sure if because it's a hub of sorts, or is it because these schools are predominantly Black, so they're kind of not availed to the same type of recruitment. But, like, as soon as he got to his other school, he ended up getting a partial scholarship to go to UF. And he ended up going there and he graduated. So I'm really trying to figure out, is it just a lack of opportunities within, like, the predominantly Black schools? Because I went to Oak Ridge, he went to Carver, and after that, like, he wasn't on any AAU teams or none of that stuff. Like, none of those opportunities were available to us. But as soon as we got over there to Kissimmee, where it's predominantly Spanish and white people, all these opportunities came flooding to us. Like,
I mean, success is location based. If nobody knew that, success is location based. You can either be, you can start a pond in the ocean, or you can go somewhere in the desert and start